You're watching News Channel 3. The news starts now.
Tonight, police officers are working to clean up Eureka's homeless population. We'll show you how. Plus, the Yurok tribe unveiled a $3 million project today. What it is and who it's for, we'll tell you. News Channel 3 at 5 starts now.
This is News Channel 3, your only source for local news on television. Bringing you the latest in news, weather, and sports 7 days a week. News Channel 3, the spirit of the North Coast.
Good evening and thank you for watching News Channel 3. I'm Samantha Bredesen. First on our newscast tonight, a McKinleyville man is in custody following a vehicle pursuit in Arcata early this morning. Police say 39-year-old Daniel Christie was on a motorcycle near Arcata Plaza at about 1:30 this morning when officers attempted to pull him over for vehicle code violations. Authorities say he didn't stop and led police on a short vehicle pursuit. Christie eventually fled on foot in the 300 block of Park Avenue after losing control of his vehicle. Christie was then taken into custody after a brief struggle with officers. The motorcycle Christie was riding was reported stolen to the CHP out of McKinleyville in July. He was booked into the Humboldt County Jail on multiple charges, including reckless evading. And in Eureka, authorities are searching for a suspect in an attempted robbery last night. Police received the call just after 8:30 from Winco. A victim reported that a man pulled a knife on him in the grocery store's parking lot and demanded his bag. Officers searched the area for the suspect but were unsuccessful. The suspect is described as a white male, 25 years old, 6'1", with a thin build. He was wearing a baseball hat, blue shirt, and shorts. Anyone with information is asked to call the Eureka Police Department. And also in Eureka, the police department continues to work to address homeless and transient-related issues in the city. Today, News Channel 3's Steve King went out with officers to see how they deal with illegal camping.
Meet Sergeant Michael Guy. He has worked with the Eureka Police Department for the last 20 years and goes out multiple times a week to address Eureka's homelessness issue.
It just keeps kind of going up and up and up, it seems like. We get more campers, more aggressive type campers, illegal campers, and right now the citizens of the community seem like they pretty much had enough and they want something done.
But he says fixing the problem is easier said than done. Officials with the city of Eureka and Humboldt County cleared out the homeless encampments from the Mauer Marsh area last summer. But as you can see behind me, the homeless encampments are here right now. EPD officials say it did not take long for them to return. But the EPD continues its educational outreach initiative, handing out information about the various services homeless people can use to get into housing.
Some people may not know that the services are available to them.
The EPD's other goal with these homeless encampment patrols is improving the safety of the community.
We get a lot of people being bitten by dogs that are walking. There's garbage, there's human waste all over the place. And they're being kind of accosted by some of the homeless down there, begging for money. We get a lot of reports of thefts, various crimes, robberies.
Another goal is improving the health of the environment.
The waterways are being clogged with bicycle parts and all sorts of other kind of human waste and trash.
Officers will return to the homeless encampment areas next week, where they hope to see the campsites cleared.
If they're camping, they're going to be issued another citation. If they've been issued citations in the past, those infraction citations can be deemed misdemeanors and they can be going to jail.
All in the hopes of improving the quality of life in the Victorian Seaport.
It's just trying to make it a better community and a better culture down here where people can safely walk and come down here and ride their bikes and not have to worry about being attacked by a dog or, being confronted by somebody that's trying to get money off them or something like that.
In Eureka, Steve King, News Channel 3.
All right, thanks, Steve. Well, as the community continues to cope with the loss of 4 Fortuna residents after a fatal collision Sunday on Highway 36 near Hydesville, one local organization is opening their doors and turning their ears to those grieving. The Hospice of Humboldt Grief Support Services is offering grief counseling to friends, family, and community members affected by that fatal collision. On Sunday, a group of Fortuna residents were returning home from Ruth Lake when their truck veered off the road and into a tree. The driver, 40-year-old Daniel Morris, 33-year-old Alicia Summerfield, 20-year-old Savannah Ramirez, and a 13-year-old were pronounced dead on scene. 4 other passengers were taken to local hospitals with critical injuries.
One of the issues about grieving is that you feel isolated, you feel alone. And one of the things that talking with professionals or with other people who are grieving can do is to help sort of normalize the situation to a degree and bring you back to the present.
And in Eureka today, the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors voted in support of local farmers. At the meeting, the supervisors received a staff recommendation to increase agricultural handler inspection fees from $85 to $292. Each year, ranches and farms that store hazardous materials like gas, oil, and other chemicals are required to be inspected by the Department of Health and Human Services for a fee. Staff proposed raising those inspection fees, saying the current amount did not cover program costs. The supervisors voted against that recommendation today, acting to maintain current fee amounts and subsidize the program from the general fund. And south of us in Mendocino County, evacuation orders have been lifted for 6 areas near the Lodge Lightning Complex fire. Overnight, the fire spread to 10,700 acres in size, but is now 45% contained. Evacuation orders for Camp Sebo, Bowman Ranch, Hunt Ranch, Tan Oak Park, Elk Ridge, and Mad Creek have been downgraded to evacuation warnings. Evacuation orders for the Hermitage, Big Bend, and Camp St. Michael areas are still in place. And to the west of us in Siskiyou County, the July Complex fire continues to burn. The fire is more than 23,000 acres in size and is 29% contained. Evacuation orders have been issued for the areas listed on your screen. An evacuation center for residents has been established at Scott Valley Junior High School. Now we'll turn it over to Cecilia Reeves, who's in the News Channel 3 Weather Center. Good evening.
Good evening, Samantha. Right now seeing some clouds here directly at the coast, but I promise we saw a little bit of sunshine out there today. We are seeing some gusty winds ahead of a front that will be coming through this evening, bringing us a very slight chance for some showers here to the coast and also to the interior, and also once again the possibility for some isolated thunderstorms. Those will be mainly located in Trinity County, but we're going to keep an eye out for it. So take a look at our satellite and radar picture. We do see we have been dealing with clouds for most of the day here at the coast, but we have seen those temperatures staying mainly in the 60s and definitely a much cooler day in the interior thanks to that cloud cover that we've been seeing. Also expect to see mostly cloudy skies through the night tonight and through the overnight hours. We are going to see, like we said, the possibility for some light showers.
All right, thanks, Cecilia. Well, still to come, Yurok tribe officials say they are seeing warning signs of another fish kill already in the Klamath River. We'll have that story next, but first, here's a look at what's coming up on Nightly News.
Coming up tonight will obviously be remembering Robin Williams, what we've learned about his death and the investigation so far, what his death brings to light about depression and suicide, like the statistic 1 every 13 minutes, and remembering simply some of his greatest moments through the years. That and more when we see you tonight.
Near Witchpec today, the Yurok tribe unveiled and opened up a cemetery for tribal veterans and their families. The $3.3 million project was funded by a grant from the U.S. Office of Veteran Affairs. News Channel 3's Lachey Wesley was there and has the details.
Situated on top of a rolling hillside, deep into the woods, the Yurok tribe unveiled a new facility. What will be the final resting place for tribal members who have served their country.
Robert Spott, Lewis Sanderson.
Today, many of those men and women, alive and no longer with us, were recognized.
There is no greater honor than to be able to provide a final resting place to honor those who have fought for the freedom of our country, for our people.
For tribal members, this project has been a labor of love, a way to recognize the many tribal members who have spent their life protecting their country. But this cemetery is uniquely Yurok.
It's our culture, our way of life, the way that we do things, you know, and it's who we are, it's our identity.
And for those that designed this facility, they say it took some careful planning, like adding traditional elements and even making the facility off the grid.
That's what separates this cemetery from many other cemeteries is its design, the way that it's put together, the structure, that it's incorporated tradition and culture.
It's really great to have a place that's just for us, to recognize all those people, and that was really special. I think they've paid attention to a lot of good details about us.
And although tribal members say that it will be a sad day when their veterans are put to rest here, they say it is a place that they are proud of. Near Witchpeck, Lachey Wesley, News Channel 3.
All right, thanks, Lachey. And the Yurok tribe is one of several stakeholders along the Klamath River that are concerned about the possibility of another fish kill this year. Officials with the tribe say that they are already seeing warning signs and abnormal fish behavior. Officials said that they are surprised that the Bureau of Reclamation chose not to release any additional water into the Trinity, like they have done in the past years. Today, officials said they worry that this year's conditions are worse than the 2002 fish kill.
I'm really disappointed, and I'm extremely concerned that these fish are already beginning to feel the signs of stress. They're beginning to hold up in around Blue Creek, where the water temperatures are a little cooler, and when you have large populations of fish congregating in a small space, that's when they transfer the disease, and that's when you have a massive kill.
In Redding today, Hoopa Valley tribal members protested where the Secretary of Interior was at. Members of the tribe held up signs urging her to release more water into the Trinity River. They too worry that conditions are like the 2002 fish kill. The Bureau of Reclamation has said that they will consider releasing additional water once there are signs of fish dying. However, tribal leaders say that will be too late. Turning to the state capitol today, Governor Brown and legislative leaders met with agriculture, business, and water stakeholders to hammer out details on a newly proposed $7.2 billion water bond. Californian Republicans were noticeably absent from the discussion. Republicans have held firm that they will only approve a water bond that allocates $3 million for water storage projects. Brown's revised water bond would provide $2.5 billion for water storage, with the rest going to areas such as water recycling, groundwater management, and watershed restoration. Lawmakers say that they hope to have a finalized water bond tomorrow, but without Republican support, a revised bond cannot be passed.
It's going to take every single one of us in this room to get it done. You've got the leadership here. We've got the soldiers. Let's make it happen.
And that brings us to the topic of tonight's News Channel 3 poll question. We want to know, would you support a bond measure that would allocate money for water storage projects? Just go to our website, KIEM-TV.com, click on your answer, and we'll have the results tonight at 11. And shifting gears, there are 2 new members at the Sequoia Park Zoo. Staff announced today that the zoo's red panda, Stella Luna, recently gave birth to 2 cubs. The baby pandas were born July 9th and weigh 14 ounces, about the size of a small kitten. Zoo officials say the cubs are healthy and will be living inside the panda den with their mom for the next 12 weeks. Zoo visitors can see the cubs through a video monitor near the exhibit. Brad Curtis joins us now with more local news. Good evening, Brad.
Good evening, Samantha. The Fortuna Farmers Market celebrated 20 years of bringing good, healthy food to the friendly city. They've been doing it consistently for those 2 decades, and farmers and craftspeople, vendors and artists, all creating a festive atmosphere at 10th and Main Street. It happens every Tuesday each year from spring until late fall. You'll find the freshest produce, vegetables, fruits, honey, and handmade soaps that while you're doing that heavy lifting, you might get a massage.
Probably the fact that we do go all the way through October, so even when it starts to rain, we're still here, and that there is a market every single Tuesday, even if there's bad weather, and we have live music every single week.
Every market has its own personality, just like the city itself does, and you get to know the people there and feel the community. It's nice. The vendors get to know each other, and we become good friends with a lot of our customers who we previously didn't know at all.
And Samantha, coming up, 2 Arcata citizens help police nab a Mississippi man who smashes a car window and attempts a burglary. The details of that story coming up at 6.
Thanks, Brad. Still ahead on News Channel 3 at 5, meteorologist Cecilia Reeves is back with a look at your local weather. Stay with us. Welcome back. The shock is still settling in at the loss of Robin Williams, and as the nation remembers him for his various TV and model roles, others look back and remember the entertainer before he ever took the stage as a performer. Cheryl Hurd has the story.
The flowers are starting to gather in front of Robin Williams' home in the Tiburon area. One young couple who exchanged smiles with him at the grocery store wanted to pay their respects.
And he was a good actor. I'm sure he was a good all-around person. Didn't know him personally, but he'll be missed for sure.
A 911 call brought police to his home. Emergency personnel arrived around noon. He was pronounced dead at 12:02. A sheriff's spokesperson suspects the death was a suicide.
It hasn't sunk in yet, really. It's going to take a while.
Jim Dunn gave Robin Williams his first acting role at the College of Marin. The play, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Dunn says Williams played a spear carrier. He had no lines.
And Robin was standing by the piano, and he had a baton in his hand, like a drum major's baton kind of thing. And he started to talk to it. And he started to talk back in character. And in 5 minutes, we were on the floor laughing. And I said, this young kid's going to be somebody someday, mark my word.
This is Robin in high school.
Ann Farsi says she didn't feel that way about Williams when she walked the halls with him at Redwood High School in the late 60s. He did cross-country track, he was on the swim team, and played soccer. Farsi says he was shy.
He was just another high school student when, as I was, growing up and going to high school. He wasn't a celebrity of any sort. And when I saw him for the first time on TV, it was just, wow.
People who knew him in his early life didn't know the pain he felt later in life. He battled depression, alcoholism, and drug abuse. He fought those demons in public, and the public is now having a tough time dealing with his death.
I'm very shocked to hear that this has happened. You'd think he's a happy guy all the time, but I guess he wasn't.
Now Manny Machado joins us with our first look at the day in sports. Good evening, Manny.
That's right, Samantha. On a much lighter note, in his first season in charge, Jason White led Eureka football to a Big Five conference title entering year 2. It will be more difficult to repeat as champions. Instead of the round robin format, the Loggers are going back to facing their league opponents just once. They'll need to go undefeated to claim the conference crown. Senior Nick Bartlett takes over for Alexis Robinson at quarterback. In front of Bartlett, the starting offensive line is back, including Jake Hansen, who is listed at 6'5" and 285 pounds. Hansen is already verbally committed to Oregon and expects another big season.
We're returning all 5 of our offensive linemen, and our backfield's looking just as explosive as last year with Nick Bartlett coming in at quarterback this year. He's doing a great job so far, and Marcus Finney and Michael McClurg are playing really well right now. So our offense is going to be explosive, and looking forward to good things.
We're working just like we were last year to win. I mean, it hasn't changed. We've got a much tougher schedule, so we really have to step up our game, and I think our league is going to be tougher this year too. I really think that Del Nord and Fortuna are going to step things up, and Mike Benbow always runs a great program, so it's never an easy road to try and win the Big Five.
And from football to the Diamond Athletics, will try to stop the Royals' 8-game winning streak. Right now, the bottom of the first inning, Oakland has a 1-0 lead. Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, CR Athletics is getting ready for its biggest fundraiser of the year. Sam, that and more when we see you at the top of the hour.
Thanks, Manny. We're back after this.
Welcome back. Taking a final look at weather this evening. Still seeing the clouds just outside of our studio with a few breaks, but expect to see mostly cloudy skies out there for the rest of the evening, along with that chance for an isolated shower to make its way to the coast, mainly north of 299 for this evening and into tomorrow morning. Currently, though, we are sitting in the 60s in McKinleyville, 61 degrees with winds from the southwest at around 4 miles per hour. And once again, we are expecting the possibility for some fog here at the coast as well this evening. Samantha?
Thanks, Cecilia. And before we go tonight, a Michigan girl has unearthed an unusual treasure at the bottom of a lake in western Michigan. 10-year-old Sunny Daniels found what she thought were rib bones from a horse in Benzie County. But when she and her father began pulling them up, they realized they had found something much bigger. Turns out it was the skeleton of an eastern elk, which roamed the area between the years 1720 and 1890. Sunny started working with the University of Michigan paleontologists and biologists on the discovery.
It's amazing. They make us feel kind of
like we're adults.
Yeah, well, they make us feel kind of, I don't want to say one of them, but it definitely we feel kind of a part of the science world now.
Yeah, I think.
The family's choosing to keep the location of the lake a secret, sending plans to tour area museums, then decide where to donate the bones. Well, that's all for us tonight. Thanks for joining us on News Channel 3 at 5. As always, you can stay up to date with all the late-breaking headlines, plus sports and weather on our website, KIEM-TV.com, and our Facebook page by searching News Channel 3. Good night.